excited to be heading along to see Moments in Time because I saw you at the comedy festival and you put on one of the most amazing shows I have ever seen. So I cannot wait for this show.
Oh, well, thanks so much.
So
It's really exciting for me as well.
So tell us a little bit about Moments in Time. What can people expect to see if they head along to see this show?
So Moments in Time is a close-up magic experience. So as opposed to what you might have seen at the comedy festival or what people might associate with magic in general, which is, magicians standing on stage or at quite a distance from people, doing sort of, bigger things. Moments in Time is being performed in a custom-built close-up theatre, which means that everyone's going to be close enough to the action to be a part of it. And the goal is to try and get as many people, or if possible, the entire audience involved in actually directly impacting the events of the show. And I think that's what makes the show so exciting, is that each night there's going to be different moments where people are going to change the outcome of the show completely because of that close-up nature, that they can actually, put their hands on the props and get involved. And, it makes it fun for me because I have no idea what's going to happen each night.
Now, I remember when I interviewed you last time, we talked about Closeup Magic, and you actually said that you prefer doing Closeup Magic, which surprised me because I thought that would be a magician's worst nightmare. But tell us a little bit about why you enjoy doing Closeup Magic so much.
It is a little bit of a magician's worst nightmare because, like I said, you don't really have a lot of control. People could, grab the cards out of my hand and shuffle them and ruin the entire trick. But I think for me, that's what makes it so fun. I've spent most of my life in magic practicing this sleight of hand and working towards having impeccable abilities to manipulate playing cards and coins and things like that. And close-up magic is a chance to kind of flex those muscles, I suppose, and really get to do the stuff I'm passionate about. Not to say I don't enjoy performing on stage or anything like that, but this is my arena where I feel most comfortable and most at home. And for me, the fun of having people there, being able to interact with them, is something you just can't replicate at a distance.
Now, one of the things we've never talked about during an interview with you is that you've travelled right around the world. Tell us a little bit about where you've gone around the world and what you've done while you've been there.
Travelling around the world doing magic seems like a distant memory at this point. But it was a fun thing that I could do, and I'm looking forward to being able to do it again. I've gotten the chance to go to all across America, to Japan, to South America, and go to different magic events and magic conventions. So just like any other hobby, magicians put on conventions with some of the biggest names in the world, and we all gather together and share card tricks with each other and go to lectures and talks and shows and things. The last one I went to before the world shut down was in Las Vegas, and there were any name you could think of would be there. So people like David Copperfield, Siegfried and Roy. It was it's the coolest thing in the world because these are absolute giants of the industry, and yet they're sitting right across from you. We're sharing things like we're all on the same level, and it's such a cool experience to be able to be there with Siegfried and Roy, and they're not these most famous magicians who ever lived. They're just normal guys who have an interest in the same thing that I do.
And do you get nervous when you chat to them? Like, I know when I've been backstage at music festivals and stuff like that, I always want to think that I'm going to have this really cool moment where Dave Grohl comes up to me and talks to me. But truth is, I'd probably go to pieces and not know what to say. What's it like when you've met some of these people that are idols for you?
Yeah, 100%. It's super nerve-wracking, but I think because when we're at a magic event, we're all kind of on the same level because we have this shared interest in things. A little bit of that nerve goes away because it's not Dave Grohl, the most amazing musician ever. It's Dave Grohl, the guitarist who loves talking about guitar. And the same applies in magic. So I think once you kind of get the past those initial nerves of like, oh my god, it's David Copperfield, and then this is like any other magic jam. And I guess you get used to it the more you do it. But nerves are ever present, whether it's meeting David Copperfield or putting on a show. You still kind of have those nerves, but it's a sign that you care about what you're doing.
And, of course, I know that you fell in love with magic because of a very famous magic shop here in Melbourne, but when you go overseas, are you constantly looking for magic stores, magic shops to see what they have and to further your own catalogue of what you've got?
100%. I have an obsession with buying old magic books, old magic props, and new stuff. I'm standing in my house right now looking at my library, and I must have a few hundred books that I'm looking at the moment because, at the end of the day, I'm beyond anything else. I'm a student of magic, and I just love reading what other people are doing and practicing. And, I might use only 1% of it, but for me, it's the enjoyment I get out of just working on it and practicing it and rehearsing it. That, that typical sleight of hand I was talking about earlier. And that's kind of the hobby element of it. And although I might not actually use that stuff in a real show, get immense joy out of just kind of having this encyclopedic knowledge of stuff, and I love to be able to pull a book off the shelf and just, fall into someone else's world. And I also find it super inspirational too, to be able to travel over the world and meet magicians in different magic shops and stuff and see what they're doing is so cool, because you get an insight into other people's thought process and then kind of see how you can adapt that to your own work.
What's the best shop that you've ever discovered? Where was it, and what made it such a special shop?
I tell you what, I'll give you two. The first one is in San Francisco. It was called Hey Presto Magic, and it was the first proper big magic store I ever went to. I went there when I was I was 12, and I went on a family holiday, and we stumbled across it, and I just couldn't believe that such a thing existed. The shop in Melbourne, Bernard, was half the size, and half their stock was practical jokes and stuff, so it wasn't sort of serious magic, whereas this place was heaven on earth, and it blew my mind. I think I spent 4 hours there and bought everything in the shop. The other one was at Disneyland. Disneyland actually has a magic shop, and it was the very first proper serious book I ever got from there. It was called Expert at the Card Table, and it's a book about difficult gambling sleight of hand written by a real card chief. And when I got it, I had no idea about any of this kind of stuff, but it kind of is what set my interest into doing close-up magic as opposed to doing stage illusions and things like that.
Awesome. Well, Josh, I know that we are so excited to see Moments in Time, but how long does it take you to prepare for a show like this? How long have you been rehearsing what we're going to see on the night?
So I haven't actually been able to do Moments in Time for a few years. The last time I performed it was 3 years ago. So not only have I been working on new material, but I've also had to get the old stuff kind of back up to scratch. But I'm really excited to be able to redo it, because it was the first show that I really put serious effort into, not just the magic, but the theatricality of it. So, writing scripts, designing lighting, music, all that kind of stuff. And it was the show that kind of set me on the path of really taking that kind of stuff seriously. And I won a few awards with it, and then changed sort of venues and couldn't do the close-up show anymore. And you saw at the Comedy Festival my latest work, but I'm really excited to be able to go back to my roots and update it to 2021. So it's been literally years of work in the making to be able to do it here, and it might be the last time I ever do Moments in Time too, so it's not too missed. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned as well that this is part of the Melbourne Magic Festival. Tell us a little bit about the festival and what people can actually expect to see at the festival. Is this somewhere where parents can take kids that are interested in learning more about magic, or is this more of an adult kind of festival?
So the Melbourne Magic Festival is actually the biggest festival of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere, and there's about 150 performances of 35 different shows each year, including people from all over Australia, and in years past, international acts. Unfortunately, can't have them this year. And there's usually between 10 and 20,000 people who come along to the festival and see shows of any type you might be able to imagine. So there's shows designed for very little children, for primary school kids, for high school kids, for families, there's adults only, after dark magic. There's super experimental stuff. Basically, anything you could imagine that there would be a magician involved in, you'll be able to find at the Melbourne Magic Festival. So if you are a magic fan, it's the perfect place to go. If you're trying to, you're a young kid looking to get into magic, it's the perfect place to go. If you've never seen a magic show in your life, it's the perfect place to go.
Awesome. Now, for all of our listeners out there, if you want to see Moments in Time, it's running from July 6th to July 10th, and we've got all the links and everything up there wherever you got this podcast from, so that you can purchase tickets and see where it's being held. Josh, and I guess to finish off, what would you like to say to people out there who are thinking about heading along to see Moments in Time?
Moments in Time is a show about the most important moments in my life that led me to where we're going to be tonight. But ultimately, the most important moment is the one I share with the audience each night, and I really hope I get to share it with someone listening right now. If you are listening and you want to come along, if you use the code word MAGIC, MAGIC, check out on the Melbourne Magic Festival website, you'll be able to get a discount for the ticket, and I hope I do get to share a moment with you.
Awesome. Well, Josh, I cannot wait to come along and see this show. Like I said, I loved your show at the Comedy Festival, so I'm so excited to head along, and we want to wish you all the best of luck with this great show as well.
Thank you so much, David.
Not a problem, mate. I'll let you go, and I'll see you on the night.
Have a great night, David.
All right, mate. See you later. Bye.